even though we don't have a quorum yet. We could do some other things, not take any votes yet. So, could everyone please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. We're going to start with the public portion. So at this point, would somebody named Chang like to come up and say a few words?
Thank you. Thank you for everyone coming in here. Just a reminder, like myself, I'm a veteran, so on Saturday at 12 o'clock, I'll be there myself in my uniform. And thank you to those who ever served itself. And also, I will be at Rikers Island seeing the veterans who are inmates too. So I will honor their services as well, you know, because they may be incarcerated, but they also are veterans itself. They have rights too. They have their positions. So, and Turkey Day's coming up pretty soon. So I'll be very soon be holding a raffle about that turkeys too. And I'm securing that from one source, so it's called logistics right now. So I'll let Lori know about that and then pass it out, how we're going to wrap out the turkey itself. So that's all I have, and hopefully it will be a nice warm day for the next couple of days. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. I know we have some reps in the back, so come on up, make your way.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Gabrielle. I am Councilman Justin Brannon's Director of Community Affairs. As many of you have probably heard, we won re-election, which is really exciting. So we'll be, thank you. So we'll be, our office, Councilman Brannon, will be representing portions of CB11 for the next couple of years. We're honored to serve you. We're really looking forward to it. We don't have many announcements today. I'm just sitting right in the back. If you have any questions for me, our office is at 8203 3rd Avenue, and our number is 718-748-5200. Again, I'm Gabrielle from Councilman Brannon's office. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Zunaira Ahmed. I am Senator Iwan Chu's District Director. I will be very brief. In the back, I have some of our office flyers, so if you ever need to know where to find us, how to contact us, you can take them. I have in English and in Chinese as well. There is also a few copies of the U.S. Declaration of Independence and U.S. Constitution. I always say you can never have too many copies of that. Keep one in your car, keep one in your house, give it to your neighbor. Let me know if you'd like to take any additional home. As the Assembly member mentioned, Veterans Day is coming up. It is very important to thank our veterans for their sacrifice, their bravery, and their service to our country. We'll be observing it with you all on Saturday. Senator Chu was very proud to host a veterans breakfast at Fort Hamilton base along with the council member Brannon and Senator Gennardez. We got to honor our veterans for their amazing service to our country and for the fact that they fought for our freedom, our democracy, and our safety, and we can never take those things for granted. I also want to mention that Senator Chu held a Halloween pumpkin and treat giveaway on October 31st. It was so nice to see all the children dressed up as witches and ghouls and Supermans, and it was really a nice event, and we got to give out pumpkins and treats to over 400 families alone. On November 30th, we will have a MetroCard van in front of our office. I also have flyers in the back regarding that. If there's any services that you need in terms of MetroCard, MTA will be there to assist you. It is on November 30th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Flyers are in the back if you're interested. We will also be having the Department of Buildings at our office on Wednesday of next week, which is November 15th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Flyers are in the back as well. If you need to talk to the Department of Buildings about anything, they'll be there to assist you. Flyers are in English and flyers are in Chinese as well. Today, Senator Chu joined the NYPD CB11. Marnie was there representing, and DOT at 25th Avenue and Bath Avenue. As you may know, this was a location of an accident where we lost a 66-year-old neighbor of ours. She was walking her grandchild when a truck made a turn onto 25th Avenue, and tragically, she passed away from her injuries. We were there along with our agencies and CB11 to talk about what can we do to prevent future tragedies. Making sure that we can all walk, bike, drive in this area safely is a top priority for Senator Chu. I'll be here all meeting, so please let me know if you have any questions as well. And I think that's all for today. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brian Gross. I'm from Councilmember Alexa Aviles's office. As you guys know, Alexa won re-election 2 days ago. We'll be representing a lot more of CB11, so we're very excited for that. Recently, Alexa had a walkthrough with Marnie to kind of get to know the community a little bit better, and we're very excited to represent more of CB11. We're also very excited to see Intro 708, the council members' bill regarding truck route redesign, and that this law will be on the agenda on November 15th. Our city's truck routes have not been really looked at since the 1970s, which is pretty insane. So this bill is a very welcome addition to the laws of the city. Additionally, City Hall, Councilmember Aviles will be hosting a Puerto Rican Heritage Night at City Hall, November 20th, 5:30 p.m. And also, of course, Happy Veterans Day. Veterans Day is November 11th, and a quick reminder that the New York City Department of Veterans Services offers health, food, and housing support, and that our office can also help with that. And if you have any concerns, just come to our office at 4417 4th Avenue. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Hunter Rabinowitz. I am the Community Board Liaison from the Office of the Borough President, Antonio Reynoso. Also, not too many updates from us today, but first and foremost, for any veterans in the room or family, or people that have veterans in their families, we want to wish you a happy Veterans Day. Last time I was here, I had spoken a little bit about the comprehensive plan for Brooklyn, which the Borough President released earlier last month. Today, we have some copies of a one-pager that explains what the comprehensive plan is and gives you a link to the comprehensive plan. They are in the back, and you can just scan the QR code and read all about it. And secondly, next week, November 15th, community board applications are open. I should have more information for you next time I'm here. They will close on February 19th. You can look at, once the applications are open, you can find them on the website. It should take approximately 45 minutes to an hour to complete them. All members with expiring terms will receive a notification informing them of such, and members who do not reapply within the window will not be reappointed. So please make sure to get your applications in. And I will also be here all night if anyone has any questions.
Good evening. My name is Paul Laguerre with the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office, led by Eric Gonzalez. We'll be having our Thanksgiving turkey giveaway on November 19th, and as I get more details, I'll share that with the community board, and I'll also have some literature in the back. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. We're having a community council meeting on Tuesday, the 21st at JCH, that's 7802 Bay Parkway. It's a different location. Please come and join us. Happy Veteran Days to all the veterans, and happy Thanksgiving if I don't see you.
Is there anyone else from electeds? I think we got everybody, right? So at this point, oh no, Tamby, come on up. Hiding in the back, I can't see you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tamby John. I'm the branch manager for the new youth library located right on the corner. So I'm here for my branch as well as the High Lawn location. BPL has some talking notes that I need to mention. They want to mention that since the merger with the Brooklyn Historical Society and the establishment of the new Center for Brooklyn History at BPL, BPL now manages the completely free NYC History Day competition for grades 6 to 12 across the city. Enrollment in the competition for students to submit original research opens in January, but we're currently hosting workshops for both students and teachers to get ready. As part of BPL's mission of providing free access, we're the only program in the entire state, even the entire country, that is free. We can help schools with expenses for the exhibit boards and glue sticks, and if they advance to the state and national contests, we'll help with registration fees and travel expenses. Air registration fees can even help cover transit, lodging expenses as needed. If you know of any history teachers for grades 6 to 12, please help spread the word about this competition. BPL also want to let everyone know that this month, BPL opened its 15 tech center around Brooklyn. These 5 centers have dedicated hours after school each day where teens can experiment with time-tested and the latest technology. These are spaces for teens 13 through 18 to be creative, learn at their own pace, socialize with peers, meet professionals in the field of tech, and acquire skills for college and careers. And last, the business Central Library offers tech help for job searching and resume 3 days a week at the Central Library. Job seekers may be lacking digital skills that can help them with finding new jobs, filling out online resumes and applications. So BPL is here to help. And just a note for my location, on Mondays, Wednesdays, if you need computer help, come to the branch between 11 and 12, and we will work with you. No matter what it is, if you have any issues, tech problems, your cell phones, the new tablets, iPads, you know the holiday seasons are coming up, and there's always the latest gizmos or gadgets. Feel free to come to the library. We are there to help you. So I just wanted to mention that. And one more thing, I know I'm a little long-winded, basically, show it all. On November 16th, which is next week, Thursday, from 4:30 to 5:30, we're hosting a team computer building workshop, and that's going to be, once again, at the District Library, located at 1743 86th Street. Wishing everyone a very happy Veterans Day, a happy gobble gobble, eat and be merry.
Thank you. At this point, this is the public portion, so if there's anyone here from the public who would like to speak, please raise your hand. This will be your last chance to speak in public. Anyone from the public? Going once? Going twice? All right, done. Okay, we have here with us the Parks Department who's going to give us a presentation. Just before we move on, this meeting is now only informational. There will be no votes, no action taken. We do not have quorum. And because we do not have quorum, we cannot take any action. So everything will be informational. We will not be voting on the minutes or anything else. So at this point, we'd like to call up the Parks Department to give their presentation.
right, yes, hello. Hi everyone, my name is Daniel Abram. I do want to be clear, I am not from the Parks Department. I am with New Yorkers for Parks. I am the project manager of research and policy at New Yorkers for Parks. Today I'm going to talk to you all. You guys can't vote, but I will inform you about our 1% for Parks campaign. I'll explain what that means, where we get the number 1%, and who we are as an organization, as well as how we do our work. So we are the only independent citywide organization that advocates for parks and public space citywide. We have been around for about 100 years, and we do our work through organizational partnerships, research, and advocacy. We founded the Playfair Coalition, which is a coalition of 400 plus friends of groups, volunteer groups, parks friends groups that all raise parks issues to us across the city and advocate with us for better parks care. This was founded by the Parks Workers Union, DC 37, ourselves, of course, the Parks Workers Union, DC 37, and the New York League of Conservation Voters, and we are currently supported by the New York City Council Parks Chair, Shekhar Krishnan, Councilmember Shekhar Krishnan. These are all of our Playfair members, which no one's really expected to read. Like I mentioned, how we do some of our work is through our research. As project manager of research and policy, earlier this year, we released a 1% for Parks impact report, which outlined what 1% of the city's budget for the Parks Department would do for the Parks Department and also for all New Yorkers. And we also, every 5 years or so, release our open space profiles. You can see Brooklyn 11 is here. This is actually the front page. The back page has a little bit more data and detail. But we take a look at the quality of parks and open space in each community district. This district in particular, I believe, ranks 55 out of 59, 4% of parkland. 2% of the district is parkland. And I want to say 51 out of 59 for tree canopy coverage. We're actually doing some work on expanding this, focusing on the districts with the least amount of parks and open space. This district falls in that category, so some of you might hear from me again to chat a little bit about that project in the future. So what is 1%? I've said it a couple of times, and what are we really asking for? So we have asked the mayor for the last 20 years, whoever that mayor has been, in this case Eric Adams, we have asked for 1% of the city budget for the Parks Department. And we get that number through some historical context, which I'll go through, and all of that funding would go towards additional gardeners, maintenance workers, tree pruners, PEP officers, just some more official presence in parks, people picking up trash, people making sure that bathrooms are open and cared for, clean and enjoyable to be in. Not that anyone wants to spend all day in a park bathroom, but that you would be able to use it and feel safe using it and feel comfortable using it. So yes, how do we get to 1%? So the last time the Parks Department was above 1% of the city's budget was in 1968. It says 1970s there, but 1968. Since the fiscal crisis in 1978, the Parks Department was cut to about 0.5% of the city's budget. Since then, the Parks Department has only received between 0.5 and 0.6% of the city's budget. And we have 1,700 park sites and 30,000 acres of parkland. And I'll go through why less than 1% is not sufficient. Parks has also seen that's way better. Parks has also seen kind of gotten the short stick when it comes to prioritization from the city. Every frontline agency since 1980 has grown by the same amount as the New York City expense budget, which is 127%. So since 1980, the entire city's budget has grown 127%. Every other frontline agency has grown by at least that much. And when I say frontline agency, you'll see up here NYPD, DOT, sanitation, correction. These are all agencies that when their work is not done, you go outside and you feel it. The Parks Department has not seen that same amount of prioritization or care and has only grown by 72% since 1980. New York City also spends less on parks than every other major city. We have a short list here. You see us there at the bottom at 0.6% for 30,000 acres of parkland. You also see Minneapolis at the top, where they are spending 5.3% of their city's budget for 6 times less parkland. This is also a city that they just kind of outlawed. They're kind of going through a whole thing, but single-family housing. So a lot of the communities in Minneapolis have a lot of single-family housing, so presumably they have a lot of private backyards. For 8.5 million New Yorkers, parks are our backyards, and we are not taking care of them at the same rate as other cities that don't have nearly as much as we do. Sorry, she said no. Next, like I mentioned, this 1% would go towards staffing and more boots on the ground in parks. And so since 1976, we had a population of about 7.4 million people. We had 9,000 park workers, 9,050 park workers. Next year, we're projected to be 8.7 million people in New York City. And we are looking at 1,000 less park workers. I also want to be clear that of this 8,043, half of those are seasonal workers. So during the busy season, sure, there are 8,000 workers, but today was a pretty mild day. We've had a lot of pretty warm days, which is what it's meant to be, you know, kind of almost winter time now. And people are in parks, but the seasonal staff is not there to pick up after the people in parks, even though people are using parks at the same rate as they would during the summer. And so really, this should say we really only have 4,000 permanent park workers. The other 4,000 are seasonal workers that are not there at all times. New York City parks have 1 gardener for every 114 acres of parkland. San Francisco and Chicago have 1 gardener for every 18 acres of parkland. If you've ever taken care of a garden, you know that half an acre is more than enough for 1 gardener. It's just not fathomable that 1 gardener would be able to take care of 114 acres of parkland. So communities that don't have conservancies or friends of groups, which are very limited in their capacity as well, are not able to take care of parkland in the same way that, say, a Central Park or Prospect Park could. As I mentioned, funding and staffing as part of all of this, the 1% also goes towards rec center funding. And you can see here in 1978, we were allocating the equivalent of $56 million to rec centers, which meant programming and events and kind of use of rec centers as a community and civic center. Whereas now they are kind of used as gyms. I think I saw somebody running up there earlier. And then so in 2022, we allocated $34 million, the equivalent of $34 million, which is clearly a dip. Also, staffing has been cut by a little less than half, from 760 to 438. So we've consistently, for the Parks Department, has consistently lost both funding as a share of the city's budget and as staffing as well. And something we see often is that when the city makes priorities, it takes care of its priorities. So for NYPD overtime spending, this is money that the city did not budget for. In 2022, the NYPD overtime spending completely outpaced the entire Parks Department budget at $670 million compared to $618 million for the Parks Department. So what are the current state of parks? We conducted a survey at the beginning of this year to get a sense with all of our friends of and volunteer groups, our park stewards, to get a better sense of what we're actually seeing on the ground in parks. And 85% of park stewards recorded an increase in usership in the last 3 years. I think everyone kind of got a really good sense that parks and public space are very important when you can't go anywhere else. As we saw during the COVID pandemic, parks were the first place everyone went. 70% of park stewards recorded an increase in usership outside of the traditional busy season. So again, that difference between, you know, a 65-degree day in November and no one is in the park to take care of it. Whereas between May and August, there is regular staffing, but not necessarily for every park. 53% of park stewards said visitors expressed safety concerns about their parks. This also comes from a lack of an official presence. There are 350 PEP officers as line items. There are, I believe, 300, and they all work in pairs. So at any given time, there are 150 PEP officers for 1,700 park sites and 30,000 acres of parkland. And that's not including any kind of sick time or vacation time that people might take. So you really end up with this very poor ratio of PEP officers being able to actually care for or look out for people in parks. There's also, no, that's fine. The last two are fine. So what would 1% actually mean for New York City? It would mean a 21st century park system that meets our needs, clean and well-maintained parks throughout the year, safe parks with staff building relationships with community members, quick repairs, avoiding longer closures, and ensuring accessibility. This point in particular, I want to talk about the current maintenance model that the Parks Department uses. They use what is called a mobile crew model, so they kind of work in zones where they are there for half an hour to an hour, at a park for half an hour to an hour, and then they move to the next park. With 1% of the city's budget, we could take on the ideal maintenance scenario that the Parks Department has actually suggested, which is a fixed post model, where parks of a certain acreage would receive fixed post maintenance staff. So that would mean if there is a broken bench, if there is a broken slide, if there is broken equipment anywhere in the park, maintenance workers are there in person on a day-to-day basis to both see it and address it. With the mobile crew model, they are there for a short period of time. They might be behind schedule. They're unable to actually, they might see it, but they might not get to it for another couple of weeks because they're not in that park every single day. So again, quick repairs, avoiding longer closures, and ensuring accessibility. Comprehensive access to our 10,000 acres of natural areas and trails. That's included in the 30,000 acres of parkland. Protected vulnerable wetlands amid a changing climate. Cleaner air and heat relief provided by a protected urban forest. Faster responses to 311 service requests for trees. Free cultural and recreational programming for New Yorkers of all ages, for seniors and children. And improved safety and conditions for park workers. There are also very clear measurable benefits of parks. There are public health benefits, environmental benefits, and economic benefits. I'm not going to go through every single one, but these are, if we're not making our parks places that people want to be, we're missing out on opportunities to increase the value of these benefits to our city and our communities as a whole. All of this said, the mayor does support 1% for parks. He actually, during his campaign and while in office, he is committed to achieving 1% for the city's budget, 1% of the city's budget for the Parks Department during his term. We've not yet seen the needle move on this, but we are going to all of the community boards and asking for a letter of support to kind of hold the mayor's feet to the fire in this promise, because he says that parks are important and says that he knows, but we have not seen that. These are all of the council members that support. We have 44 council members in support of 1% for parks. No council members are opposed. We've asked all council members. We'll have to update this slide after election this week, but yes, these are all of the council members that support. And we also have 12,000 petition signatures of New Yorkers saying we need 1% of the city's budget for the Parks Department. And that list is growing every day. I'm happy to share that petition with you all via email after this meeting. And Marnie, if you can disseminate it to everyone, please, that would be great. And how your community board can help. Even though you aren't voting today, maybe you will vote on in the future about providing a letter of support for 1% for parks. Sign and share the petition as well, and attend our rallies. We have pretty regular rallies at City Hall, and we are happy to have any of you there. We'd love to see everyone there and draw a crowd at City Hall on a regular basis. Thank you all very much. Do I need to? Aye.
Hi, good evening. You mentioned that CB11 is 55th out of 59 in terms of our quality of parks and just like how much park land we have. Do you know why that is? Like, I guess historically, like, how come, or what determines how much a neighborhood has in terms of like parks? Just, I guess thinking about like the history, like, is it because you have to have representatives that are like asking for more like funding for our parks?
So, as far as the history, I cannot answer that question. I'm unsure, but it's part of it is the built environment itself, land use generally, zoning, but then also, where are people advocating for parks? That's all capital funding, which is separate from the 1% for parks, but we do also have another initiative as part of our 5-point plan for park equity that focuses on building more parks. It's actually two parts to that, focusing on building more parks and streamlining the capital process to build faster. I can't answer necessarily the history, I'm not sure, but it is something that you all can absolutely advocate for. If you have vacant lots that you'd like to see as community gardens, if you have other areas that you'd like to see converted into parks, that's definitely something that you can take to your council member to kind of champion parks for yourselves as well.
Thank you very much. We'll share this with the rest of our board.
Okay, so it's interesting because my son told me that Suffolk Park, which is in our neighborhood in Bensonhurst, was really a pond. So that was it. Then it dried out because it was water. So of course you're not going to build. And then once it dried out, it became a park, and so it's a really large park. But I think we're so late in the game. We should have had more public land before other people decided to make it private, and we have just not enough space, to have fun, recreational space. So I applaud that, but I still would like to know what 1% really means in translation, because budgets can go up and down. I don't know what it means. I'm looking forward to more.
No, of course. So 1%, as I said before, 1% would go towards additional maintenance workers. 1% is really about the quality of parks. Dollar amount. So 1%, so a 0.4% bump would be about $340 million. It would be $1 billion. It's a $100 billion budget for the city, so it would be $1 billion for the Parks Department, which would go towards making sure that all parks are taken care of. The only park that has a private staff is Central Park. That is fully staffed. Other parks have conservancies or friends of groups, but they still rely on the Parks Department to do their work because they're not fully staffed. The only park that is so well funded is Central Park, and I think we all kind of know why. But and not every community has the time capital or financial capital to take care of parks in their community. These are public spaces that the city owns, and we would like to see the city take care of. As far as building more parks in the district, like I said, I would have to be more familiar with the district of where there are opportunities for parks and open space. I think you all would know better than myself. Like I said, we are working on expanding our open space profiles to focus on the community districts with the least amount of parks and open space, and looking for suggestions on what are some of the best ways to increase parks and open space? What are some of the best ways to increase tree canopy? Is it an open street? Is it, converting schoolyards to playground, which is a Trust for Public Land project? There are a lot of different ways to increase the amount of public space available to people. And I think we're working on creative solutions on that, and we're talking to communities as well.
1 second. No, 1 second. CB members, any other questions or comments?
You mentioned how many parks.
Yes.
Is the Parks Department also responsible for tree inspections on the streets?
Yes.
Why haven't they been kept?
So-
we had a torrential rainstorm during the summertime. All right.
No, I can't answer. I mean, the answer is lack of funding. They're spread too thin. But
We had dangerous situations where trees came down, all right, because of the storm. Those trees were dead. I mean, you sort of, the remaining part, it was all,
Yeah.
empty in there. Nobody inspects these trees.
right.
I mean, that's
Well, with 1% of the city's budget, hopefully there would be enough staff to come out and inspect all trees because yes, the Parks Department is responsible for all street trees.
okay, so what
and
you're
park
saying is, if we do get the 1%, that also includes more inspection of the trees?
Yes, inspection it includes tree pruning and tree and stump removal as well. Yep.
CB members, any other questions or comments? Any questions from the public? Any comments? You need to come up here. Gotta be.
No problem. Hi.
Hi.
Questions. Number one, what exactly constitutes a park?
Oh, that's the first. I thought you were
That's
going to ask
the
the
one
second
question.
one. Okay, yeah. What constitutes a park? If it's owned by the city, those are the parks that we're focused on. That also, in the 1,700 park sites, that includes recreation centers that are owned and run by the Parks Department, buildings that are run and owned by the Parks Department that are open to the public, and then parks. Anywhere where you see the parks leaf, that would constitute a park. And then there are, there's city parks, there's state parks, there's other like private parks, like if you look at somewhere in Manhattan, like Skytown or Peter Cooper Village, they have private land for themselves. That's not included in the Parks Department. That's not something that they take care of. But that anywhere really that there is green space that the Parks Department takes care of is considered a park.
Basically, any park that's got any place that's got like even a tiny little bit of green and a bench maybe? Does a bench make it a park?
If the Parks Department takes care of it, that would
okay,
count as a park, yes.
okay. Thank you. Second question.
Sure.
Why, in your opinion, do you think that New York City has the least budget for parks?
I honestly feel like it's a issue of political will. Parks have always been the first to get cut, as if they are not important.
Parks and the library.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, parks and libraries. And so, yeah, libraries we're in the same bucket as us, as the Parks Department was last year. And we're both able to avoid cuts, but I think for us, we don't really see that as a win. I think everybody painted the library situation as a win, but we don't see not getting cut as a win because the Parks Department has always been, since 1978, at 0.5% of the city's budget. And so the only win for us would be an increase from 0.6 to 1%. As a community, letter of support from the community board would go a long way. Like I said, attending rallies, signing our petition, because it is an issue of political will, and it is also something that comes from the mayor's office, while the council members' budget negotiating team can negotiate for more increases in different areas. This is ultimately something that will come down from the mayor's office in the executive budget. And so really it is about holding the mayor's feet to the fire on that promise of 1% for the city's budget.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
We will refer this to the committee and we'll share the presentation with them. Okay, so just some updates. The Department of City Planning certified the City of Yes Economic Opportunity Tech Team. This is one of 3 that the city is putting out. Today, November 9th, begins the community board review process. I personally have signed on to a letter for all of us that says that it's with the other community boards also to say that we need additional time to review this proposal proposal is over 600 pages. Yeah, so it has things like removing residential space to add commercial use. It changes use groups and commercial overlays within residential districts. It expands as of right designations that will permanently remove our tools for community review. So there's a lot in there, and we need more time. So we signed on to this letter asking that they give us more time, another 30 days at least, to review this proposal. Planning and Zoning Committee met jointly with the Public Safety Committee to talk about policy and procedure regarding the review of the cannabis adult use retail dispensaries. We are getting applications into us, and the Office of Cannabis Management did grant approval for a one-time 30-day extension for the applications that we received in early October. But we've received more since then. So at this point, we can't do it tonight, but we do need to have an extension on the new ones that just came in. So what's going to have to happen is next week, we're going to have to call a week after an executive committee meeting. And the executive committee is going to have to vote on some of this because we can't wait till December. Because December's meeting is past the deadline, which means then we're not winning in, which we don't want to do. So also, in addition, Community Board 15 asked us to sign on to a letter with them for a casino that is being discussed in Community Board 13. So the committee discussed this and said there's no application that's in yet. So it's not going through ULEP process, which means that we did not have a public hearing. So we decided, the committee decided, which we can't vote on tonight, is that we would not sign on to this letter, that's the recommendation, because we did not have a public hearing. And we need to hear from our community about it. That is, it's not a matter of the committee making a recommendation and the board voting for it. We need to hear from the folks who live here as to what their feelings are. So I had told that to Community Board 15, so that's a possibility. Right, it's not in our community board either. Yeah, exactly, exactly. So that's another thing. Right. But it's not fair. Like I said, I know my community, I represent my community, but I wouldn't dare speak on behalf of my community without hearing from them, to hear what their opinion is. It's their opinions. I don't know how the community's going to feel about it, whether they want it or not. I have no idea. So in other news, Marnie mentioned this last month, that we saw something posted online, and now it's come to fruition today, where we were notified that they are building a homeless shelter for 150 single men at 8521 25th Avenue, also known as 2501 86th Street. It's a corner, like an L. For those of you from the neighborhood, think of Mayflower Drugstore. It's that location, okay? Mayflower, remember where Mayflower was? That's it. It's that L shape right there. So right now, all we know about it is that it's for 150. The nonprofit service provider is the VIP Community Services, and they anticipate opening in late 2024. That's all the information we have right now. 150 men. So as soon as we have more information, anything else, we'll keep everybody apprised of that. On to better news, I would like to congratulate Susan Zhang in winning the newly drawn 43rd district, and to congratulate Councilmember Aviles and Brannan for their re-election to their districts and newly drawn districts. Congratulations. Please send our appreciation to them. And at this point, I'm going to hand it over to Marnie for her district report.
So, thank you. So I don't have much to report because it revolved around the board taking a position. So we'll hold off on that till the executive committee meets. I just want to give very brief updates. For Veterans Day, there will be garbage collected tomorrow as well as Saturday. So put everything out. They'll be coming to collect so it doesn't pile up after the double holiday. The Department of Environmental Protection is making emergency water main and sewer repairs on Bay 32nd Street. You'll see them working and storing material from 86th Street down to Cropsey. While the water main work is already completed, the sewer repairs should be completed in about 4 weeks or so. And we're hoping that there won't be too much impact to the residents. They took a tremendous footprint, but the work needs to be done. We will be getting some new traffic signals. They were approved for 16th Avenue and 63rd Street and 15th Avenue and 83rd. Installation should be completed by January 31st of 24. And I just want to thank Adlai. Lori kind of wanted to bring in more presentations and some other workshops, and so Ed was really helpful in organizing for next month's meeting some Narcan training, and we'll be having that at the December board meeting. And other than that, that's what I have. That's just information.
Any other new business that anybody wanted to bring up, not that we could do anything on it? Sonia.
Okay. It's okay. Okay. I represent the 62nd Precinct Community Council as its president. Captain Lau had said that we're going to be having a community council meeting. And for those of you that don't know what it is, it's actually where the community comes, and if you have any issues or concerns that you want the police to know about, that is the place for you to address it. There will be police officers there, there will be neighborhood coordinating officers, and you could go directly to them and address your issues. So before you leave tonight, come see me and you can sign up. I will put you on our email list and let you know everything that's happening, any NYPD crime prevention tips, anything happening in the neighborhood, so please do so. And also for those that came in late, please be sure you come up before you leave and sign our sheet so we can have a list of who comes and attends these meetings. That's number one. And then also, I also represent the New Utrecht Public Library on November the 13th, which is Monday. We are honoring the veterans. We have some sheets in the back. It's going to be at 3:30. Please join us. It's very important that we honor our veterans. So the flyers are in the back. New Utrecht Public Library. The sheets are back there. The flyers. Yes, it is. Yes. We have an elevator as well. We have an elevator. Okay, also, on October the 31st, the 62nd Precinct and the New Utrecht Library had a nice Halloween party outside. We were thrilled that all the kids brought their parents to join them to get to see the show and to get some candy. Let's see, what else? I think that is it. But I have the sheet, so please don't be shy. Sign over here, we'll put you on our list for the council meetings. That's it.
Anybody else with any?
Hello, everyone. We have a ESL program and IS 96, 99 Avenue P. I have been running this program over 10 years, very successful. Anybody, please help us teach the new immigrant English. Just volunteer, okay, no pay. Because 2 years ago, someone asked me, Dr. Lo, you have to pay me. I told you that this is a volunteer job, okay? Please, if anybody interested, teach the ESL to the new immigrant, please call us. 718-975-0955. Please help us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else on the board? Okay. Motion, 803. Claudio, second. Victoria. Actually, it's not even a motion, but we're just doing it because we like adjourning.